let's get started!
Okay, here we go. If it's only 5 kilometers from the bar to here, and yet All Might took at least 30 seconds before he arrived. How fast did he fly?
ここがバスルームだ。
Whoa, that's correct, little person.
That's great!
Guys, I didn't understand a single thing the little person said.
Me too.
Okay, I'll start the rant now. Okay, here we go. MHA chapter 390. It's a flash focused chapter, ultimately ending with Sunbirt's very vague defeat. Now do take note that this video will not be a full recap. We are just gonna be ranting about things that don't make sense. But before we start, let me say a little something. So about the mutant discrimination arc. Its main moral lesson is, don't treat ugly people as villains by default. While this moral lesson is nice and all, but ironically, the creator's main way of showing how villainous and irredeemable the PLF is in this final battle, is by ramping up their ugliness and drawing them as horrendous as possible. Look how ugly they are. That's how you know they're villains. So yeah, we got some conflicting stuff here. So what would it be then? Should we treat the ugly people as villains or what? Okay, that's enough ugly people discrimination. Let's get to the chapter. So about chapter 390. I gotta say, the main structure of this entire Todoroki mini battle arc pretty much used the exact same formula as the one used in the floating fortress battle, where there's a big villain under a big dome of plasma, threatening some people. Meanwhile, the high schooler from class 1A that's destined to beat said villain arrived in a jet at supersonic speeds. The main difference between these two is that the Todoroki family drama storyline has a lot more depth to it. Especially because both Sunbird and the people he directly threatened here are directly related to Flash himself. This made everything way more meaningful and exciting, so naturally this storyline got a lot of focus in the finale. Meanwhile, on the other side there's the main hero and the main villain. These two have barely any connections with each other, and because of that their battle is extremely shallow and boring. So instead these two are pretty much just ignored by the plot and get very little screen time in this last arc. Ironic. Okay, moving on to the actual manga rant. So like I said earlier, chapter 390 is a Flash focused chapter. But since Flash is pretty much a decent character of his own, and most of the panels are just about him, there's hardly any rantable stuff in this chapter. Except for Sunbird as usual, because he's always packing enough bullshit to last an entire rant video every time he's on screen. And speaking of Sunbird's rantable bullshit, there's one over here that's technically caused by his heat bomb. Specifically at how heroic this guy is portrayed in his act of freezing it and stopping the heat bomb altogether. While yes, stopping a 5-kilometer heat bomb is definitely a very heroic act, but it's really awkward considering Sunbird only reached his supernova heat bomb mode specifically because other heroes just didn't attack him all this time. The Kamino heroes just stood around and got burned. The Gunga Mountain hero squad simply straight up ignored him. Hell, even the Elemental family just casually tried to cool him down, instead of just ramming an ice pillar to knock him out and instantly stop whatever villainous bullshit he's cooking. Just imagine if M. Bison went to confront this idiot after he arrived at Gunga Mountain. He'll easily whoop Sunbird's ass within 5 minutes.
Yes! Yes!
But no, that didn't happen. Like the rest of the Gunga Mountain hero squad, he also ignored Sunbird. So yeah. All in all, the heroes and other characters just didn't do anything at all, just so Flash can show off. This is supposed to be a big moment for him, but in the end it just felt incredibly scripted, far more than your average grade school stage play. It's really awkward. Hell, he's even got himself a camera crew, who are not even scared of the heat bomb at all, as if everything's really just scripted and they knew nothing's going to happen. Anyways, so about the aftermath of the totally not scripted act of freezing the heat bomb. I gotta say, there's just something strange about Sunbird's defeat over here. It just ended abruptly. There's no closure of some sort, and the camera just immediately went out of the scene to focus on these two. Hell, it literally ended way before the minor fights even started. But what's really strange about the entire Sunbird defeat is this random comment over here pointing out that Sunbird is freezing from within. Now it may not be much, but I find it oddly similar to the small glowing dot that eventually resulted in Sunbird going round 2. Could this be foreshadowing that there will soon be a round 3? Could this be the reason why the ending is so abrupt? Because there is still a round 3. But how is Sunbird even supposed to go round 3 in this ridiculous burnt up state? Okay, I'm gonna do a prediction. Sunbird will suddenly copy the super special arm replacing technique and then apply it to his entire form, all while combining both his fire and ice powers to turn himself into a spectral being of cold fire.
Look into my eyes.
Yeah, my round 3 prediction is incredibly stupid. But then again, Sunbird is that one villain who received the most ass pulls and power-ups in the final battle so far. Not to mention the most badass panel artworks. He's clearly the creator's favorite, and creator favorites do not go down very easily. Plus he's a mass murderer in MHA, and everyone knows mass murderers should be saved and forgiven in MHA. That means Sunbird's just gonna be fine. He's gonna get saved, literally and figuratively. Okay. Rant over. Overall, Chapter 390. As a whole, it's pretty much pure fan service for Flash fans, and also to Guy Jiggle fans too. And there's even a 10% chance that Sunbird is finally dead and he didn't get to eat his soba noodles. So technically it's a massive win-win for everyone. This chapter is good But before we could end the video, I just gotta say that Libra getting all emotional over Sunbird smiling is very silly considering that she herself is actually part of the heat bomb blast radius. And speaking of Libra, since the last panels are all about her, looks like she's gonna be the main focus of the next chapter.
Okay, little person, here's another one. All Might put himself in quite the predicament. How will the hero prevail?
2番街のお菓子屋さんが悪者に乗っ取られた。
That's still correct.
This calls for a celebration!
I swear guys, I'm not understanding a single thing the little person is saying.
Me too clever, comrade.
今回のテストはたまたまみんなの心読むカンニングが外れただけ。